Well, he was always never into video games, always outdoors, always very active, and just an awesome kid to watch him grow up. Fishing, hunting, and just always interesting play.
I was kind of skeptical of college. You know, I wasn't really sure. I knew that I really liked to play lacrosse, and I liked wrestling a lot too. And I was definitely ready to be done with prep school and all of that. So I was ready for the next step, but I wasn't exactly sure what that was going to look like yet. I thought I got cut in half because I couldn't feel my body, and it was just like the most like time just like stood still. And I just remember like my entire body was really cold, and then I tried to stand up, but I just fell over immediately. And on the third story of this house, they were putting in a really big single pane glass window, so they needed a bunch of guys to help them get it to the level that they needed it on. And so I was, in order to do this, normally they have a platform with some sort of like a forklift or a man lift or a scissor lift, something like that. So the operator of the forklift put the platform on, which is normally tied down by 2 chains and a lever in the back, and he forgot to tie it down to secure it correctly. So myself and 2 other guys got on the platform and were holding the window, and we were being lifted up, and we got there, we set the window in place, tacked it down just with nails, and we put the caulking around the outside of it, and just one of us shifted just the wrong way, and it tipped the entire platform off and pulled the window out of the frame at the same time. So we all pretty much started falling, and I remember thinking to myself as I'm falling that I need to get away from the platform. So I tried to jump away from it. And as I did that, there was a concrete like barrier wall at the bottom, and I'm pretty sure, I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure I bounced off of that when I landed, and then I rolled on the other side of it into, you know, like a pile of dirt, and then the platform landed and then rolled right over top of me, and I'm pretty sure that's what did the most damage.
You know, I got an email from the admissions office, like everybody did. I got the same email, and you know, I saw the name, and it just stopped me cold. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
For the most part, I've felt pretty hopeless for a pretty consistent like 4 months at that point. The entire time I was in the hospital, really. It was probably the most horrific thing that has ever happened to me. I was afraid of letting myself stop caring about whether or not I lived or didn't, or whether or not my quality of life was ever, you know, reinstated, or whether or not my life would ever get better. So I guess a big part of me getting through that was just kind of being patient, really. I mean, there's nothing that will make you become patient like waiting in a hospital bed for your legs to start moving, or for your back to stop screaming in pain, right?
It was quickly apparent to me that Wade and I were pretty compatible. We bonded over some Ernest Hemingway quotes and books. He sent me, you know, back and forth. We're texting or we're emailing, and he's sending me some things that were inspiring him, and I jumped on the Hemingway stuff because I studied that when I was here at Hope, and so, you know, traded some books back and forth and some suggestions, and so it was pretty neat. We had an instant language with one another, and it was, you know, it's just like talking to an old friend after a couple weeks.
He would try and text or call me probably every day when I was in the hospital. And the guys on the lacrosse team, some of which I had met, some I hadn't, they were always messaging me on Facebook or sending me emails or texting or calling me, and that was awesome. Just kind of knowing that, like, I had something in a place like Hope where I hadn't really spent a lot of time, or I hadn't really established myself. I had all of these people that really cared.
You know, we could tell from what Coach was saying and the things that we were seeing that Coach was showing us that this guy was something special. And you know, before we even met him, you know, we were already taking him into the family. And that's something I've noticed about the team this year is we're really close. You know, we have our struggles, we have our difficulties, and you know, mountains we got to climb over, but we're doing everything together. And I think Wade's played a huge role in that.
I remember I got a massive packet of letters from an accounting class of just all these people who I have never even met, you know, writing me letters about, you know, staying strong and how much they're thinking about me or they're praying for me. And that kind of stuff really made all of the difference. It's kind of like in order to be strong or in order to get through something, you kind of need something to be strong for, you know. So in a lot of ways, the lacrosse team and Coach Chanel's and pretty much the whole Hope community kind of gave me something to hang on to. Something to look forward to, you know, so kind of in a lot of ways something to live for.
Everybody calls it the grind, and it's like, it's not a grind, fellas. This is what we wanted to do our whole lives, and here we are having an opportunity to do it, and so we're loving it. And so that's been the biggest impact that he's had on us, is just to put things into perspective for us and to make sure that, you know, we're there for each other as teammates. Everybody has each other's back, and everybody's smiling and playing. You know, this isn't work. This is play.
I think that Wade is such a refreshing addition to Hope because you see him everywhere. He's all around, in JP's, LJ's, wherever, and he just is so generous with his time. He listens to people. He cares.
The normal transition from high school to college is not what Wade unfortunately had to experience, but Hope it couldn't have been a better school for Wade, no doubt. And we really appreciate that as a family. I know my wife and I and his sisters really appreciate him and being here.
And it's clear that he's been through a lot. He's had his struggles, but you know, everyone goes through their struggles, and I think Wade has really helped the team in their personal lives and, you know, outside lacrosse to overcome a lot of challenges, and just whether it's daily or, you know, big picture stuff that maybe some of us don't even know about. I think he's really inspired us in that way.
I think that the most courageous thing about him is that he says that this is hard and that some days he doesn't know what's going to get him to the next day. I think that that is the most courage I've ever seen someone say.
He told me when he had the accident, Dad, I've had one bad day. One bad day in his life. So that day's over, and this is a new day.
A man can be destroyed, but never defeated. And that's Wade as a man. Wade is the man. I call him the man. So,
you know, the average person can just, you know, walk 10 feet and it's no big deal, but seeing him do that and really push through and fight just to take every step is really inspiring for the team.
He's using his inability to do what he used to love to inspire people, and I think he's still in the process of figuring out what it is that he loves right now, but he's not wasting a day, that's for sure.
In that process of becoming an Eagle Scout, one of the things they ask is, you know, what makes Wade an Eagle Scout? They ask it to the other scouts, and the one thing they all said, he has courage.
You know, I don't really know, because sometimes throughout this process, and I know this whole award is about courage, and when you first asked me about the award, I was like, well, I don't really know why I'm getting it. I mean, it's my life. No one can live it for me. You know, this is the circumstances that I have, and I have to do something with it. But I think it's really not letting circumstances rule your life, and not letting the thing that holds you back define who you are. You know, something holds everybody back. Everybody has a wheelchair waiting at the edge of their bed in the morning that they get into. I can see, you know, I push mine. You might walk in yours. So there is something that paralyzes everybody. And I think a big part of having courage is being honest with yourself and knowing who you are and realizing that, and then kind of owning it, taking responsibility for it, and understanding that no one can do it for you.